I just checked in. We came straight from the airport. I'm traveling with Daniela Federici, a photographer from New York, and we had only just checked in, and within 60 seconds of leaving the checkout, leaving the lobby and walking up the stairs to have our first production meeting, suddenly we hear gunfire erupting, and before we know it, there's people running through the lobbies. You know, they came in sort of all guns blazing. It was just chaos. And we just barricaded ourselves into the first restaurant as the doors sort of exploded with gunfire. And then as we moved, half our crew moved sort of further back into the next room and barricaded that. And they started throwing, I think, hand grenades at the first door, trying to break that off its hinges. And then as we kept pushing further and further through the ballrooms and just, I guess, thinking of what was going to happen. I thought it was going to be over in minutes, but it was 6 hours. We kept waiting for sirens and kept waiting for the police to turn up, but there was nothing. It just seemed to be no relief in sight. So, and more and more gunfire, more and more explosions that rocked the ceiling, and windows exploding, and then we could hear the gunmen walking the hallways, and it seemed like they were hunting people, and we had heard from the hotel staff that they were trying to draw people out from their rooms by calling them and looking for foreign tourists. We had iPhones, so we were able to kind of actually monitor CNN and call home and try and get any information we could just to find out the whole extent of the attack.
So you literally came into the hotel, heard noises, rushed into a restaurant, blocked yourself in, and people were trying to get in to get at you.
Yeah.
And I'm just interested in the scene in the lobby as you came in, because this was just moments before the attack actually took place. The attackers must have been around you.
They must have just been behind us. We were out of the lobby pretty quickly because we were trying to get to our production meeting because, you know, we're trying to shoot a luxury travel show here. So we were in a bit of a rush, but they must have been right with us. I was surprised at how lax the security was. We went through one metal detector, but it was really nothing whatsoever.
And we're just seeing pictures today of the Taj Hotel, and it's a quieter scene, of course, but when you were there, you were stuck inside this room for 6 hours whilst you heard all of this commotion around you. And as you say, you didn't feel as if anyone knew you were there or you were going to be rescued. Just describe what you were all doing in this room for 6 hours.
Look, everybody was very calm. The hotel staff were really good and really orderly, but, you know, every 10 minutes maybe another explosion was just rocking the place, and we thought the roof was going to come down or the dome had collapsed above because there was, you know, the chandeliers had started to come down, there was dust and glass smashing, and we could hear, it seemed like they were throwing grenades in the hallways to blow down doors. That's what it sounded like to us. So we were just barricading ourselves in and expecting them to come through the door any minute. And of course, you know, after 6 hours, and we were looking out, I saw one guy with guns out the door run round to the side entrance, and other than that, we didn't really see any police arrive. So it was when the smoke started filling in and the heat in the place started to go up, and then we saw burning embers and flames. We knew it was time to go, so we smashed these quite thick double glazed windows. And because we were totally locked in, so we had to really smash them. And then the first thing we did, I tore curtains down and tied them onto the window, and we started feeding people out through by climbing down the curtains onto the street. And it was after we'd sort of established that for a while that the fire trucks came. And at first there was complete confusion. Soldiers started to arrive, but no one knew what was going on. So it took a while for them to get ladders there, but we knew the fire was still kind of holding itself back a little bit. So, but other than the burning embers and it was raining broken glass from exploding windows above. But the soldiers didn't seem to know what to do or who to look for or look at.
Yeah, we're just seeing some images from last night outside the hotel. Our crews were obviously there filming what was going on. And meanwhile, when these pictures are being sort of broadcast around the world, you're sitting in this restaurant watching the pictures on CNN and on your mobile phone. What did you think was going on?
Well, you know, at first I thought, oh, it's a shooting or it's an isolated incident, and it was only then we started to get information that how widespread the attacks were, and then we just had to start forming our escape plan and thinking what we were going to do, and also what we were going to do, I guess, with our shoot, and what was the outcome of that for all of us. I know no one panicked. Everyone felt that we were going to get out of there, but I think we always felt that it was going to be up to us because it just didn't seem like police were coming. There was no one outside the windows. We knew the hotel was on fire. We didn't hear one siren. So we were just kind of looking for a relief that just never seemed to come.
What was your plan if someone did get in?
Say again?
What was your plan if, you didn't manage to get out?
Well, first of all, we found a thick table, and we were going to hide behind that. We expected the bullets to start flying any moment because we could hear people outside in the corridors. We could hear what sounded like people getting taken upstairs and explosions coming further away. Then they were throwing hand grenades off the window. So we were just backed up against the windows. That was our last thing, and we didn't know if gunmen were outside, but as soon as the hotel was on fire, we just knew we had to go. So, we had no place.
Yeah, and we were watching these pictures of the chaos last night. It's interesting because some people we spoke to have high praise for the military and the police on how they handled it, but you sound as if you're not that impressed at how they were handling it and when you managed to get out, because effectively you were on your own.
Look, we looked out the window for 6 hours and we didn't see anybody. The streets were deserted. There wasn't a soldier. There wasn't anything. I think no sirens. The scenes you're seeing are later. Don't forget, this started at about 10:30. They came in all guns blazing, and then I think we left. We finally broke through the windows at about 4:30 in the morning. So we were there for a long time, and it just didn't seem like. Of course, we know now that I think they were all stretched because the amount of attacks across the city must have really stretched them to the limit. But we just thought no one was going to come.
I just have to ask you one more question. You say everyone was acting calmly in this room, but I can't imagine being huddled together behind a table in a restaurant where you knew that there was gunfire and bombs and, well, some sort of explosions going on around you, and you managed to stay calm. It's an extraordinary sort of scene. Just describe the sort of people that were around you and what you were talking about, what you were discussing.
I think there was a lot of typical Australian good humour and a lot of messages from home. We were just trying to keep everyone's spirits up. There was a couple of foreign women who were praying a little upset. Most of the Indians, because I think they realised pretty quickly that really they weren't targeting so much. So, look, we were definitely concerned, but what can you do? We're all very experienced travellers. We knew that panic wasn't going to work, solve anything for anyone. So we were just really thinking of the next, plan of attack, I guess, and our exit strategy from there.